Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As-salatu was-salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. For this Ramadan Ruby, I would like to talk about a topic, a very important topic, yet a very simple topic, dua. And I don't want to talk about, the power of dua or understanding the power of Allah Azza wa Jal, and that whenever we make dua to Allah, Allah Azza wa Jal listens to us and has the power to grant us everything and anything we can wish and desire. We all have heard that, we all understand that. But sometimes there's a disconnect between understanding something and then applying it in our lives. And that's what I want to talk about. The amal, the action of making dua. The Prophet ﷺ, he instructed us, anything we can think about, we should make dua for all matters. And he actually the example in the hadith is that, even if you have a cut shoestring, you make dua for that. And the Prophet ﷺ also taught us that a Muslim who makes dua to Allah Azza wa Jal, granted that he doesn't do, he's not sinning and he doesn't cut family ties, Allah Azza wa Jal will give one of three responses. The first is Allah Azza wa Jal will fulfill their dua. The second response is Allah Azza wa Jal will keep their whatever they ask for them in the hereafter. And the third response is that Allah Azza wa Jal might avert an evil that was coming their way. So we understand the importance of making dua, but a metric test for each and every one of us is, are we actually doing that in our lives? And what I mean by that is, whether it's a good time, whether it's bad times, whenever we need something, whenever we want something, is the first thing we do go back to Allah Azza wa Jalla and make dua? That's something that I need to reflect on, and that's something that everyone needs to reflect on. Is that the first thing we do? And a story I want to share is the beautiful story of Zakaria alayhi salam, mentioned in Surah Maryam in the 19th chapter of the Quran. Now Zakaria alayhi salam, he goes to his Lord, وَإِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ نِدَاءً خَفِيًّا. He goes to his Lord and he makes a private supplication. And at the time, Zakaria alayhi salam, he's old, and his wife is barren and she's old. And, there's almost a 0% chance that they could have a child at this age. But Zakaria alayhi salam asks Allah Azza wa Jal for a child, for an inheritor, for an heir. Why? So that the people, his community, could continue on the footsteps towards God, so that they can continue on the straight path. That was his intention, right? يَرِثُنِي وَيَرِثُ مِنْ آلِ يَعْقُوبَ وَاجْعَلْهُ رَبِّي رَضِيًّا. So he asked for a child that is also a prophet to guide the people. And Allah Azza wa Jal answers his dua right there and right then. Because, the angels then come, right after that verse, the angels come and they say that, Allah is giving you the good news. نُبَشِّرُكَ بِغُلَامٍ اسْمُهُ يَحْيَى. A good news of a child, his name is Yahya, the Prophet Yahya alayhi salam, John the Baptist. And not only is his name Yahya, this is something remarkable and something unique, and we could talk about this. This topic itself is so interesting. He was the first one given that name, and that name was given to him by Allah Azza wa Jal. So when we talk about that, we talk about the power of dua, something that's from a rational perspective very impossible, right, becomes possible. And right after that, Zakaria alayhi salam actually he just asked for something. God gave him that, whatever he asked for. But this is part of human nature. Zakaria alayhi salam is in shock. He's asking, how can I have a child when my wife is barren and I'm gray, and I have gray hairs, right? Because I think this is something that we need to take a step back and understand, that part of human nature is wanting to understand everything, and sometimes we cannot understand that. It reminds me of the Urdu poem, akal wo hai jo khuda ko paave aur khuda wo hai jo akal mein na aave, right? That God, that your intellect is that which tries to understand God, right? And God is that which cannot be encompassed by your mind. God is capable of everything and anything that what we can think of and we cannot think of, right? And so that is the power of God, and our mind can never encompass encompass God, period. And so when we make dua, we don't need to understand how that might happen. We don't need to understand when that might happen or why that might happen. What we need to understand is Allah can make it happen. And so when we make dua for anything that your heart desires, whether it's possible or whether you think it's possible or impossible, Allah can make it possible. And, just to conclude with this point, right now, during this blessed month of Ramadan, every single one of us wants something. Whatever our heart desires, we want something. And this is the perfect time to ask. So right now, as you're watching this video, if you have anything that you really want from Allah Azza wa Jalla, if you have anything that you really desire, ask right now. Make wudu, face the Qibla and just ask. Whatever it may be, it can seem impossible to the entirety of the world, even in your mind, but it's possible in the realm of Allah. So just ask Allah Azza wa Jal and know that Allah Azza wa Jal will hear you, and know that Allah Azza wa Jal will answer you in a way you might understand or in a way you might not understand. But this is a win-win situation. So take the time right now, make dua for whatever your heart desires. Barakallahu feekum. As-salatu was-salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And of course, one of the things that I think every Muslim needs to be making dua for right now is for our brothers and sisters in Palestine, for our brothers and sisters in Sudan, and all the oppressed people around the world. May they be victorious over their oppressors and get peace, food, security, shelter, water, whatever their heart desires. Ameen, ameen, ameen. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.